Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and today I'm going to be talking about Kamala Harris's vice president pick, Tim Walz. Now, I'm pretty late to the party. She announced him about like 5 days ago, and that's my bad. So instead of talking about like her picking him in the process or like the alternatives, I'm going to be talking about how this will affect the election. But first, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about who Tim Walz is. Now, Tim Walz is about the same age as Kamala Harris, which is honestly kind of surprising. No offense to Tim Walz, or I guess even kind of Kamala Harris. He was a high school football coach. He was in the National Guard for, I believe, like 21 years or 24 years. And that is insane. He was a member of the House of Representatives from Minnesota. And then he became, for like 12 years, and then he became governor of Minnesota in 2019, and he won re-election by 7% in 2022. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the good things that come with selecting him, and then I'm going to talk about some of the drawbacks. First of all, he's a veteran. That kind of counteracts J.D. Vance's veteran points. I should address like the rumors that like he abandoned his group and he like left them to die or something in Iraq. No, what are you kidding? First of all, he didn't like leave. He retired, and he submitted he retired to run for Congress, and he submitted his papers to run for Congress before he was even told that he was gonna go to Iraq. So like. And he retired. He didn't like leave or abandon them, or he didn't even like leave them to die. It's just it's a nothing burger. Okay. So now if we look at like the next part of his career in the House of Representatives. Now, Minnesota's 1st district is actually extremely rural. It is a very Republican district, and he managed to hold on to it even in a couple red wave years like 2010 or 2014, and that shows his appeal. He has tons of appeal in Midwestern, white working class, rural voters. And those were a lot of the voters that Donald Trump activated in 2016 to be able to become president. And that is seriously going to help Kamala Harris there. Now that she has a little bit of that herself. And that kind of shows like what she needed. She needed a couple things out of her VP pick. First of all, since she's so diverse, she is a woman of color, she needed someone who was kind of boring. She needed a straight white man. And then she got that out of Tim Walz. And she needed someone with a lot of white working class Midwestern appeal. She also got that out of Tim Walz. And like that is seriously helping her. He's extremely charismatic. He has that like uncle charm. He is extremely well approved in Minnesota. He is one of the most approved Democratic governors in the entire country, and he is very well liked in Minnesota, and that even spreads around to a lot of the states around Minnesota. So what are some of his drawbacks? Well, first of all, he's a progressive, and that can help them with a lot of like Arab voters and voters in like the upper Rust Belt, but it hurts them in places like the Sun Belt. It provides a lot of cannon fodder for like Republicans and attack ads to kind of show that the Harris ticket is very progressive, because while Kamala Harris moderated herself while she was vice president, while she was senator, she was one of the most progressive senators in the entire country. And Tim Walz is also extremely progressive as a governor. And that seriously hurts them in a lot of these moderate areas. And it also hurts Kamala Harris in a way, not even his fault, but just by not picking certain other people, namely Josh Shapiro, who was the other finalist. And if she had picked him, it would have basically been guaranteed a win in Pennsylvania. So this means she is going to have a harder time winning in Pennsylvania. It is going to be extremely close. And alongside it, and Josh Shapiro would have helped with those moderate voters. He is an extremely moderate governor, and he's extremely well approved of in Pennsylvania. So you could say that like passing on him is kind of a missed opportunity. However, when you look at some of the other stuff around Josh Shapiro, you kind of start to see why she didn't pick him. Namely, 2 reasons. First of all, apparently there was like a sexual assault case from one of his former aides that he swept under the rug while he was governor. That's no good. That is not good, especially for a campaign. That is easy dirt. for Republicans to dig up. That is not very good. And second, he either like planned to volunteer for the IDF, or he volunteered for the IDF when he was like younger, and that is bad. That is bad for turning out progressives. Democrats needed a vice president pick who could like actually get these people to turn out, and Tim Walz delivers on that. He called the people protesting to free Palestine people who were like engaging in their civic duty. That shows his position on the issue. While Josh Shapiro is not only pro-Israel, he even, I think, volunteered in the IDF. That is crazy. It's not about him being Jewish. It's about him being so pro-Israel. And that would have hurt the Harris candidacy. So now, where does it help Kamala Harris and where does it hurt Kamala Harris? Well, it really helps her in a lot of these like northern, midwestern, like even like Rust Belt states. A lot of the states that voted for Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary. However, it hurts her a lot in the Sun Belt, especially like very moderate areas like Arizona, or very minority-heavy areas, especially Latino-heavy areas like in Nevada or in Florida, because that is easy cannon fodder to point to the Harris ticket and say, you guys are socialists, you guys are communists. And that may not be true, but it can leave an impression. So I'm going to go specifically into the big 7 swing states. First of all, I think it's just going to blanket hurt her in the Sun Belt of the swing states. It's not going to hurt her very much because this was already a region that Kamala Harris was doing very well in. She can turn out like African American support in states like Georgia and North Carolina. And there's a lot of polls coming out showing she's doing better than Biden in 2020 with Latinos, which can seriously help her in states like Arizona and Nevada. So like it's not going to hurt her very much in the Sun Belt. Now the big 3 swing states that it's seriously going to affect are the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The big 3, the blue wall, the states that made Donald Trump win in 2016 and the states that made Joe Biden win in 2020. Now it's seriously going to help Kamala Harris in Wisconsin and Michigan. Wisconsin is Minnesota's sister state. It has a lot of rural voters that Donald Trump activated in 2016, and even in 2020. It was extremely close in 2020. And Tim Walz is going to be able to turn them out more for Democrats. It's going to be able to bring interest for Democrats back into these rural areas, into these white working class areas. And in Michigan, it seriously not only helps like white working class voters like in Wisconsin, but Michigan has the most Arab Americans in any state. I think it's like 3% or something like that. That may not seem like much, but if a lot of them were planning to stay home or maybe even vote for Trump if she had picked Shapiro, this is a major save, and it can seriously help her in the state of Michigan. Now, the last of the big 7 is the state of Pennsylvania, and honestly, I think it barely hurts her. Not really because of anything Tim Walz is. In fact, he seriously helps them in these rural areas, in these white working class voters, in these white working class areas. In fact, I'm kind of starting to sound like a broken record here, but mainly just because of the absence of Josh Shapiro. If Josh Shapiro was picked, like he is one of the most popular governors across the country. He has like a 56% approval rating. He won election to the state by 14%, even if it was against a bad candidate. In this polarized of an age, that is crazy. He's very good in the state of Pennsylvania, and not having him on the ticket seriously hurts her there. You know, it's going to mean that Pennsylvania is going to be one of the closest states in the election. Joe Biden won the state by 1.2%, and he had an advantage there. He's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris doesn't really have much of an appeal there, and not having Josh Shapiro on the ticket could seriously make Pennsylvania vulnerable for Democrats and make it possible for Donald Trump to take the state, which is horrible for Democrats, because this is quite possibly the most important swing state across this entire map. If Democrats take it, that means so many pathways for 270, and the same goes for Republicans. So not being able to have a lock on Pennsylvania does hurt them. But if it means that they will do better in these 2 swing states, Wisconsin and Michigan, it is overall kind of a plus. You know, if you discount these Sun Belt swing states, which like the vice president pick wasn't going to have much of an impact on, Wisconsin's electoral votes 10 plus Michigan's electoral votes 15 is 25. That is 6 more than in Pennsylvania. So overall, yes, it is a net help for Democrats. So yeah, I do think this is a serious help for Democrats. This boosts their campaign. It helps their momentum. It draws out progressives to vote for Harris. And I think it will seriously help her. It seems that she is basically playing all of her cards right. That she just agreed to a debate with Donald Trump on September 10th. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like Republicans are underestimating her there. And she will probably win that debate. And it will help her even more. This momentum is going to keep coming. It is going to keep pushing. And I think at this rate, she is currently the favorite. And if you want to know more of my thoughts on that, you can check out my presidential election prediction. It will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Overall, this is a great vice president pick. It's like the bizarro JD Vance in a way. And yeah, thank you. I will see you in the next one.